Hey guys, how's it going? Coach Tyson from Oxford, continuing with our advanced technique series for the deadlift. So we've already talked about the slack and the grip, which interlinks with each other. Now I want you guys to add another variation to your deadlift, and with this we can hopefully achieve a better sumo deadlift. So ajako topic is going to be mostly about how to set up your hips and your knees in order to have a better slack pull. But then the slack pull ko concept पनि त्यसमा add on चाहिँ हुन्छ, तर त्यसपछि चाहिँ we focus on execution of the lift more in this video. Alright, so without wasting any time, let's directly go into the video. So हामीले slack pull, feet position, foot arch यस्तोहरुको सबैको कुरा गरिसक्यो. So if you haven't watched it already, then I would highly recommend that you go ahead and check those videos out. So अब sumo deadlift गर्दा, squat गर्दाखेरि, mostly lower body exercises गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ दुईटा कुरामा हामीले फोकस गर्छौं. Posterior tilt अनि anterior tilt अनि neutral back हामीले चाहिँ chase गर्नु पर्ने हुन्छ. And when we're setting up the deadlift, the most common error that I see that is happening is that you're trying to extend your lower back. So back extend गरे भनेपछि चाहिँ back extension मा गएपछि you're causing too much stress on the hamstring, which is natural byproduct of extending your back because hamstring lengthened position मा जान्छ. At the same time कसैले चाहिँ too much slouch गर्यो भने चाहिँ lower back position पनि lose हुन्छ. So you want to find the perfect balance for the hips. But then for most people, they're arching more on the lower back than they're doing a posterior tilt. So what I generally cue is for you to keep your ribs down and squeeze your glutes as hard as you can. So यति गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ you're in a neutral back position. And another cue that I would give is to think that your tailbone is pointing down directly towards the floor. So that's that. So hips भित्र राखिसकेपछि knees को natural byproduct is that it's gonna go out. And again deadlift गर्दाखेरि sometimes कति जनाले चाहिँ too much चाहिँ external rotation मा focus गरेर hips लाई यस्तो गरेर चाहिँ knees out गर्नु खोज्छ. अनि यो हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ while it may look like a decent position, कहिलेकाहीँ के हुन्छ भने you are not able to produce force because force produce गर्नुलाई चाहिँ knees थोरै भित्र आउनु पर्छ. Squat गर्दा पनि you might have seen knees भित्र आयो भने चाहिँ then you can produce force. So त्यो balance चाहिँ कसरी create गर्ने I'm going to teach you है त. So when you're setting up the sumo deadlift, hips लाई एउटा neutral position मा राखिसकेपछि चाहिँ all you got to think about is pulling tension in your abductors. So abductors मा पनि अब धेरै stretch गर्यो भने knees externally rotated हुन्छ, and while it may look like a good position, force produce गर्नु सक्दैन के तपाईले. So what I want you to do is step back a little bit from the barbell अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ glutes लाई भित्र राखेर 50% stretch जति मात्रै abductors मा राखेपछि चाहिँ then also put a little bit of internal rotation just so that we can feel very powerful off the floor. So knees अलिकति अगाडि राखेपछि चाहिँ then you want to hinge down to the barbell to create a position. Now slack pull को position त हामीले पहिला पनि कुरा गरिसकेको छ. I'm not going to talk much about the slack pull. तर अब when we're pulling slack, यो slack pull गर्ने र hips लाई wedge गर्ने movement चाहिँ एकैचोटी हुनुपर्छ. Then only like successful deadlift हुन्छ है. So तल भयो. Slack pull गरेपछि यो position जुन position मा अघि हामीले set up गरेको थियो, we want to push our body into that position and make sure that you're pulling with your elbows with your shoulders up. So slack pull गर्दाखेरि कति जनाले मैले यसरी पिछाडी तानेको देख्छु. पिछाडी गयो भने चाहिँ फेरि बार इनिशिएट हुन साथै अगाडि पिछाडी यस्तो खालको मुभमेन्ट हुन्छ हैन. So we want to pull up the slack first. Pull the slack up and then wedge our hips and knees into the barbell. So अलिकति internal rotation मैले राखेको main reason चाहिँ is so that you can produce force and really drive through your quads. So hips or knees को position चाहिँ त्यसरी मिल्नु पर्यो. Alright, so few caveats हुन्छ यसमा पनि. I'm sure यो भिडियो एक दुई चोटी हेर्नु भयो भने तपाईले बुझ्नुहुन्छ, तर एक दुईवटा ट्रबल शूट चाहिँ कसरी गर्ने चाहिँ म एड्रेस गरिदिन्छु है. First thing first, the most common one, सुरुमा नै भिडियोमा भने hamstring overly activate भयो भने चाहिँ यो पोजिसनमा पुगेपछि hamstringमा रेन्ज हुँदैन. So torque हुन थाल्छ हैन. काम चाहिँ hamstring because it cannot hold the glutes in place. So त्यसको लागि चाहिँ के गर्नु पर्यो भने hips लाई you go into a more anterior hip position. यो हुँदा naturally knees out जान्छ. यही position if you can pull, it's perfect. But then if you feel like hips धेरै भित्र राख्दाखेरि चाहिँ knees यस्तो राम्ररी बाहिर ट्र्याक हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ अफ द फ्लोर भारी भए जस्तो लाग्यो भने चाहिँ maybe you have to let go of that position a little bit अनि just a little bit knees लाई भित्र राखेर you step back from the barbell knees अलिकति भित्र राखेर चाहिँ you really want to feel the quads breaking the weight of the floor जस्तो गर्दाखेरि quads ले नै पावर लगाएको जस्तो फिल हुनु पर्यो हैन that's that अनि अर्को भनेको चाहिँ hips र knees को टाइमिङ चाहिँ मिल्नु पर्यो so two things could happen your hips could lock out fast or your knees could extend fast so hips पहिला lock out भयो भने चाहिँ you are focusing too much on external rotation which may look good तल अलिकति difficulty हुन्छ but then some people are naturally stronger in the bottom position so त्यो feel नहुन सक्छ के so knees बाहिर छ यस्तो hips lock out भयो knees चाहिँ like extend नै गर्न सक्दैन यो पछि यो पोजिसनमा weight is heavy enough यो knees लाई force out गर्नै सक्दैन के so यो हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ maybe you want to put your knees down a little bit another thing knees अब quad dominant छ quads बाट धेरै force produce गरिराछ भने चाहिँ knees पहिला lock out हुन्छ and then you cannot lock out the weight slack तान्यो अलिकति यस्तो this is an over exaggeration तर what happens is when your knees are locking out so fast because you're putting too much tension यहाँ पुगेपछि weight heavy enough भएपछि त्यो तान्नै सक्दैन यस्तो हुन्छ or like I don't know what you would do but you cannot produce force so यो combat गर्नुको लागि चाहिँ we want to focus on hips in more and since you already have strong knee extensors you want to go down straight to the barbell and focus on the slack up slack को भिडियोमा I think एउटा कुरा चाहिँ भनेको थिएन which was that slack को main purpose is also to find the center from where you start pulling the barbell हैन so squat गर्दाखेरि hinge गरेर center भेट्छ भने deadlift गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ slack pull गरेर center भेट्छ so slack pull गर्दाखेरि मैले ओजसको केसमा देखिरहेको थिएँ उसले चाहिँ center भेट्नुको लागि चाहिँ यस्तो अलिकति बारलाई टाढा लगेर अनि बल्ल hinge पोजिसनमा लगेर माथि तानिरहेको थियो सो त्यो उसले त्यहाँनिर सेन्टर भेट्यो नि त जस्तो त्यो भयो भने चाहिँ के भयो भने उसको प्रब्लममा यहाँ भयो नि त लकआउट टेक्निकली तर अब स्ट्रङ इनफ यसरी तान्नु त तान्छ तर सेन्टर भेट्दाखेरि बार अगाडि गइरहेछ भने चाहिँ मेबी यु वान स्टेप इन अ लिटल बिट मोर अर स्टेप आउट अ लिटल बिट किनभने कहिलेकाहीँ चाहिँ टु नजिक यसरी सेटअप गऱ्यो भने पनि बिकज यो हिप्सलाई उसको यो नी पोजिसन स्ट्रङ छ नि त सो उसले त्यो बारलाई नेचुरली अगाडि लगिरहन सक्छ के यस्तो गर्यो अनि ठ्याक्क नी पोजिसन सो यु वान स्ट्यान्ड अलिकति बिहाइन्ड एन्ड देन फाइन्ड योर सेन्टर थ्रु द स्ल्याकको चाहिँ केही पनि टेक्निक चेन्ज हुँदैन Alright, so there you have it, hips and knee position in the sumo deadlift. Few considerations that you want to keep in mind is that hips and knees lock out at the same time. When you're focusing on posterior pelvic tilt, knees is naturally going to go out, right? So naturally, knee out hundakheri chai you could be weaker off the floor and faster at lockout, but at the same time, you might not be able to produce force. So if you find yourself really difficult in getting the bar off the floor, maybe then it's time to step a few steps back, not in terms of strength, but in terms of positioning, and then set your knees up and then focus on knees and hip extension at the same time. And if you find yourself in the opposite direction where your knees are extending too rapidly, then also maybe you are standing too close to the barbell and you're pushing the barbell away from you. So you got to center alikati agadi gayo bhandakheri chai you better find your position beforehand, then go into the sumo deadlift. The moral of the story, hips and knees work together and slack is really important, and make sure that your hips and knees are locking out at the same time. If somebody says otherwise, they're probably doing something wrong and they need to address it. And hopefully this video helps you guys understand the relationship between the slack and hip and knee position in the sumo deadlift. Like always, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching from myself or anyone from our team, links are in the description below. Customized training templates in the website, and make sure that you subscribe to this channel as well for more content like this. Until next time, be strong.